Hi guys, hi everyone. So today two reasons why I'm doing this video today. One is I have a message from Spirit regarding the spiritual aspects of our teeth, and also just checking in with everyone. I have been having a whirlwind of the past 2 weeks. My astral space has been very busy. I have been having dream after dream after dream. Like I feel like I'm literally jumping right from one dream into another. Very vivid. I'm seeing people that I haven't talked to in years. Partners that I've been with that I haven't thought of in years. Everyone's kind of coming to the surface. And when I sat on this and asked what was going on, what they were telling me was I was getting rid of old contracts, situations and things that I now no longer served me, that I was releasing. So I thought, oh, that was interesting. So that's been going on. I've been being visited by several beings. The spirit community seems to be very busy, very active. I'm not sure why, but that's been going on. I've also went through a very strange experience last night where I started purging, and it went on for about 3 hours. And along with the purging, I went through like this whole bodily system. This feminine energy came through and was telling me that there was nothing to fear, that I was just being upgraded. Whatever that means. But a lot of stuff was happening to me. At one point I was having like ears ringing, then I was having pressure in my head. And again, this would only last like maybe a minute or two, but it was like constantly I felt something in my body that was happening. My hands at one point, my hand chakras felt like they were on fire. I had full body tingles at one point. I had my hair feeling it go standing up on end. My legs, one internally felt hot, the other one felt freezing cold at the same time. So I had like some weird sensations in like my solar plexus, my sacral plexus area. Very strange. It was all very strange. But I'd be curious to see if anyone else is experiencing what I'm experiencing the past, I want to say maybe 2 weeks now, a week and a half to 2 weeks. But last night was probably, I have received what I call upgrades in the past, but nothing to that degree. It was pretty wild. At first, the dizziness, I would get uncomfortable and I would go to turn my head, and it was like I was having vertigo, like the room would spin and stuff, and then it would go away and then it would come back. It's all went through the course of like 3 hours. I think it was about 3 hours, maybe 4. But anyway, it's pretty crazy. So just want to touch base with you guys and see how your astral world, has been, and see if you've been going through any physical things or dreaming about old partners, old friends, things like that. Just trying to get a feel for what's going on out there with other people too. But interestingly enough, last night, right after I experienced all this stuff, I actually, and the other thing was, I knew everything that was going on. Like I felt safe, like I felt like I was okay. And one of the reasons was that there was this feminine energy that was around me that just told me, she kept, comforting me and just saying, you're just being upgraded. That's all she kept saying. You're just receiving an upgrade. You're okay. I mean, at one point I went through this whole period where I couldn't even move. Like I couldn't even move my entire body as much as I wanted to. It was like almost like in a sleep paralysis. But again, I wasn't afraid, because this feminine energy felt very loving, very warm, and was just telling me just to relax. Everything was okay. It was just something that I need to go through. So I don't know. Maybe someone out there is having a similar experience. But thought I would share that. So last night, after all that happened, for some reason, I was thinking about a few months ago. I was losing my dental insurance, and I had 2 temporary crowns that were on my teeth. And I decided that before I lost my insurance, that I would get these teeth permanently crowned, put a permanent crown on them. So I remember when they were doing the one tooth, like after they got done and they were waiting for the crown, the other hygienist to bring in the crown, I was looking at my little tooth, and my tooth was like, it's one of my back molars, and it was like half the size of what it was before, and I'm like looking at it, it looked like a little nub, and I felt so bad, and I thought, oh my gosh, why do I feel so bad? But anyway, so last night that was like one of my last thoughts before I went to sleep. I'm like, why was I thinking that? So this morning, when I woke up, I immediately was getting nudged to sit. I kept getting the word sit. So I'm like, okay. So Spirit this morning came through and wanted to talk to me about teeth. And when I go in with Spirit, I look at things, even though I'm a nurse, I don't look at what we're taught in the medical field as to what is the cause of our physical. I look at the spiritual meaning of what is going on that results in the physical. So I hope that makes sense. You'll find a lot of people have different information when you look up spiritual meanings of different things. But for me, currently, this is what came through for me. This is what resonates with me, and this is based on my understanding. If this doesn't resonate with you, leave it at the door. It's okay. We're all having our own experience and our own personal understanding. That's what makes us unique. So, I thought I would share this with you. Interestingly enough, I could actually correlate some of this information from some of this information I could actually correlate at the time what was happening in my life to what I was experiencing with my teeth. So it was very interesting to me. So I hope you find it just as interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I'm sharing it with you today. So jumping right into it. So teeth are holders of many things about a person. Too many are being removed. And what I saw, like what I saw and felt was that too many teeth are being removed, but it was more for a cosmetic. Like what I saw was like, fresh, teeth all perfectly aligned and things like that. So in this age that we're living in, our teeth are important. And, when we're moving them out of vanity or materialism, there's a downside to it. They're part of us, okay? So that was kind of the feeling that I was getting coming through. So then it goes on to talk about the shape of the tooth indicates a hard life. So the hardness of one's life. So basically, when it says the shape, what it was showing me was like, you know how your molars have all those indents and crevices? And that's what it was showing me, like all those mountains, if you will. Which, if you kind of think about your life, you do climb mountains. You have a lot of uphills and you have a lot of downhills. And so I was like, oh wow, okay. So when it talks about shape of teeth, that's what it's referring to, at least for me. Okay, that's what I was shown was like almost, the flatter teeth, not the front teeth, but the back teeth where all the crevices and stuff are. So then it goes on to say that the canine teeth, which are the ones in the front over here, hold information about one's past life. The wisdom teeth hold information from one's timelines. The secondary teeth make up the recorders. And I was like, oh, interesting. So the top teeth so your top line of teeth, they hold information in past, and the bottom teeth hold information in the now. The two front teeth, minus the third tooth, hold information about a person's personality. So then I was like, oh, well, what, why are you saying third tooth? Like, I thought it was interesting the way the spirit came through, how it said, the two front teeth minus the third. So I asked Spirit what it was talking about by third tooth. So it said there once was a third tooth in front. However, it is no longer needed because humans no longer have the animalistic behavior / personality. So then I was like, so then what I saw was, you know how some people, my sister had a gap between her teeth. You have people with the front gap. So when I saw that, I was questioning Spirit, like, why is it that people have gaps then? Is that why people have gaps? So Spirit said the space between the two front teeth is due to the slower progression of that tooth returning to the energy body. So basically, it's like your third eye. You know, it goes back into your energy body. It's no longer here. So it just means when someone has that extra space between the front teeth, that it's that third tooth that we used to have is just still absorbing itself into the energy body, which I thought was kind of cool. Anyway, but let's see here. So then it goes on to start talking to me about the health of our teeth. So it said many cavities are formed when one cannot speak or feel heard. And interestingly enough, during I had a lot of cavities as a child. I was still losing teeth, my baby teeth, till I was a freshman in high school. And I remember having, every time I went to the dentist, I felt like I had 2 or 3 cavities. You know, as a kid, it was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? So when Spirit came through and told me to, now my ear's ringing. When Spirit came through and said that many cavities are formed when one cannot speak or feel heard, I grew up in a family where us children, we were not allowed to speak our minds. Like, we had to be silent. Like, we had to keep things within us. So then when I when I received that, I was just like, whoa. Immediately I saw my childhood. My ear's still ringing. Sorry. So that totally correlated with what I was experiencing. Some cavities are from anger that one is holding within. So if you go back to a period, if you had a period where you all of a sudden had cavities and you didn't have them before, think back on what was going on in your life. Were you angry? Were you bottling anger within? And if you were, maybe your cavities were from that. The molars hold a person's, quote, knowing. So it's kind of like your gut, you know, your the knowing in your solar plexus area, your gut instinct and all. Root decay is about one not making proper decisions about their journey or path of evolving. And that was very interesting to me about root decay, because I remember I never had a problem. I recently got married, and I was kind of I had this feeling that I should not have married the person that I married. But due to the situation I was in and different things, I felt like I didn't have an option. So interestingly enough, I want to say maybe a year or 2 years after I was married, I don't remember, this is going back, oh gosh, 1990s, I'm going to date myself now, but I ended up with my first root canal, and it's the only root canal I've ever had, and it just came out of the blue. I had no pain, no discomfort. I literally went to the dentist just to have a cleaning done, and he's like, oh, you have this root decay that's going on in this one tooth. Like, it needs to be, you know, you need to have a root canal done. And I was totally floored. I was like, what? But when this came through from Spirit today, and I was reminded, like, I saw myself sitting in the dentist chair, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I totally can correlate that to knowing that I didn't make a proper decision about my life journey. I was just kind of like, whoa, that's crazy. So gingivitis is when one is holding a lot of self-sabotaging regarding one's ego. So interestingly enough, my partner struggled with gingivitis for a few years. So today, after I received this information, we're sitting there at breakfast, and I'm like, you know, I said, what was going on in your life when you had gingivitis? I said, you know, were you kind of in the mindset of self-sabotaging? And he was like, oh, no, no. But he's like, but I was dealing with, you know, he was a widower, so he was dealing with, taking care of his wife who was passing away. So he was in a struggle. So then he was like, but that wasn't self-sabotage. I just wasn't sure I could, you know, I had a lot of things, you know, that I was trying to handle. I had some doubts about what I was doing. I said, exactly. That is self-sabotage. You're doubting yourself. So, interestingly enough, that gingivitis correlated with what was happening in his life. Okay, where am I? Okay. Too many teeth is one holding on to old information. So sometimes my one daughter actually had to have some teeth pulled because she actually had too many teeth. So what was coming through was that she was holding on to her soul or energetic body, whatever, didn't want to release information that it no longer needed. So it needed to be, so her teeth were going crooked. So these teeth were trying to be heard that, hey, we're no longer needed, but her spirit, her energy body was refusing to release them. So it resulted in the physical of the teeth being crooked. So anyway, and she is stubborn. Let's see here. Lack of teeth shows where one is in their evolution or evolvement. So my one sister, interestingly enough, she hereditary, like this is something that happens on my dad's side, is that a lot of us I didn't have that issue, but my sister did, where she had a lot of missing teeth, and then her daughter had a lot of missing teeth. So if you were to go and look at the lineage of that body of my sister and my niece, her daughter, there may be that there's that lineage that is still evolving to a certain level. Okay. In order to maintain one's teeth, one must have an understanding of self. Teeth that are gray, you know, that kind of have that grayish coloring to them, are a sign of phosphorus and calcium depletion. And this is kind of where Spirit kind of was just kind of going through different things. Tooth pain that's not related to cavity or root decay or anything like that. You're just having, like, all of a sudden your tooth's just bothering you, but there's no cavity. There's nothing to explain why that tooth is bothering you, or those teeth. It could be more than one. Can be a sign of dehydration or no time for self-love. TMJ is anger towards another instead of understanding what it is about the person that is triggering that emotion of anger that you're holding, that you have. So that was interesting to me. I was like, oh, I knew it was anger, but I didn't realize it was anger. It's anger that you're holding on to about someone else because you're not verbalizing that anger about that person. And you're holding on to it. You're not going within and saying, well, why am I being triggered by this person? Why is this person making me so angry? What is it about them that is triggering me to be angry? So it went on, Spirit came through and said that we surround ourselves with those that so this is something we need to remember, especially people with the TMJ, is that we surround ourselves with those that mirror us. And these people we surround ourselves, they mirror us in order to assist us in learning our shadow aspects or our shadow archetypes of ourselves. So if you're having TMJ, stop and think. Look at the trigger. Look, if it's involving your anger towards someone, look at why you're feeling that anger. Go within. And chances are, once you figure that out, your TMJ may just go away. Just saying. So then I was asking why a tooth cracks. So interestingly enough, what came through was, you know, when you fracture a tooth, like the front tooth, you chip it or something like that. It says a cracked tooth is the inability to see truth in a situation. And I remember I cracked one of my teeth, and one of my side teeth, I didn't even realize I cracked it. And it wasn't until my mom was like, what happened to your tooth? And I'm like, what? And she was like, your tooth is cracked, like it's missing like a part of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But what was happening at that time was I was going through a period of, I knew something was not right, but I was refusing to acknowledge it. So it was exactly what Spirit said, the inability to see truth in a situation. So all of this stuff, I can correlate to what was happening in my life on a physical level. So just, you know, very interesting, at least for me. I don't know if it resonates with you guys, if you go back through and you start thinking about when you had certain cavities or whatever happened in your teeth. But this may be a way of going down the path of trying to it's just another thing to show you that if we don't take care of the spiritual aspect of self, it's going to show up in our physical in some shape or form. So I hope this is helpful for somebody out there. If you want some more of my videos, hit subscribe. If you found this helpful, hit like for me. I also leave you my email. If there's anything I can help you with, please email me. I also go and do soul readings. I'll go into your Akashic records. I can go into your planetary history if you want me to, or your soul origin, or things that, if they're reoccurring, is it generational? Is it whatever is going on? Please feel free to email me. And if I don't have the answer, I will, hopefully, maybe I can direct you to a person who may. So anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.